We turn to national security analyst and former CIA case officer out of the Middle East, Clare Lopez. Welcome back, Clare.
Thanks, Chanel. Glad to be with you.
Clare, there's a lot of conflation of narratives right now. One theory floating around, you wrote about this in your article at American Greatness, the theory that Thomas Crooks and possibly others across the U.S. who may fit this anti-Trump profile could have been recruited through online gaming sites by Iranian intelligence agents who were posing as Americans. Lay that out a little bit.
Well, sure. First, I have to give credit to my friend and co-author, Jill Bellamy, who helped to write this article and really laid it out. And I added some edits and tweaks to it. But the point here is that we know for a fact that the Iranian regime has had IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, hit teams inside the United States, at least dating back to 2020, following the January 2020 takedown of IRGC Quds Force commander Qasem Soleimani under the Trump administration, and that those hit teams were not only gunning for then and now former President Trump, but also officials of his administration, including John Bolton, the former ambassador to the United Nations and National Security Advisor, Defense Secretary Mark Esper, and former CIA Director and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. So we know that those things are the background for this. And then more recently, just before the July 13 attempted assassination of former President Trump at that rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, we got news leaked, fed to the media, that U.S. intelligence authorities knew of a more recent and very specific Iranian threat against the former President Trump. Now, in addition to that, we also know very well that regimes, including Iran's, also China, Russia, and the Islamic State also all use online gaming apps, not necessarily to identify themselves and to recruit per se, actors like Thomas Crooks, let's say, but rather anonymously to influence, to sway such young, potential targets as Thomas Crooks, who may not ever have even known or understood that he was in touch with operatives of the Iranian intelligence service. This is unknown for sure at the moment, but given that background, it's certainly a possibility I think we need to be looking at.
Well, sure, but do you see anything in Thomas Crooks's profile or in the way he, I guess, had conducted himself leading up to July 13 that indicates that he had any kind of training from Hamas or any kind of support from them beyond having these encrypted apps?
No, not really. He did belong to a local gun club, apparently, but that was pretty much the extent of his firearms training. But again, he may not have known, been completely unwitting of with whom he may have been in touch on some of these gaming apps. I think the profile of this would-be assassin, the shooter, Thomas Crooks, is incomplete at the moment. We have heard from the FBI and from a Secret Service in testimony before Congress in the last day and two or so that they cannot get into some of the apps on his phone. Now that belies credibility, but okay.
Right.
We also know that in an interview at the Republican National Convention a week and so ago, Jesse Waters talking to Representative Mike Waltz of Florida, right? In that interview, Mike Waltz told Jesse that the shooter, Thomas Crooks, did have apps on his phone with foreign connections. Those foreign connections, or at least some of them, later were identified as Germany, Brussels, Belgium, and New Zealand.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.